We've all been there, lost and confused. Maybe you pull up to a visitor center in a new city and get a big map with a bajillion different things to do, but come on, it's 2024. There's gotta be a better way to figure out what to do and where to go. There are a lot of other videos out there that say, oh, you must do this in New York City or wherever you're going, but if you've ever heard the quote,
give a man a fish and he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish and he eats for a lifetime.
I'm trying to do the same with you. No, not give you a fish, but to give you a new way to explore cities for the rest of your life. Welcome to Luxalwea, the place to learn how to live and travel better. In this video, I'll explain 7 unique ways you can use to explore a city so you can get the customized and vibrant experience that you want to get. I'm going to be moving to Washington, D.C. next year, so I'm going to pick that as our model city for all of the methods that we're going to go over today. But you can apply them to whatever city you're planning on going to as well. Alright, let's start off with method number 1. And I know, it's super basic, but I gotta cover it, so just give me 15 seconds, and then I'll move into some of the more preferred methods. The most basic way to figure out what to do in a new city is just with a simple Google search. You'll get results from TripAdvisor and other booking sites like Viator, news chains, and maybe even a local tourist site. They'll definitely provide things to do, but they're usually quite touristy and generic. Of course, I'm sure there are things here you'd want to do, like see the National Mall, the White House, the Capitol, and a Smithsonian Museum, for example, in Washington, D.C. But this is clearly the base level of figuring out what to do in your new city. Alright, let's move on to method number 2. This method is a little better because whoever wrote the blog is in the same position as you, looking for something to do in the city. They're a traveler, you're a traveler. They're in a family of 4, you're in a family of 4. They're gonna backpack through Cambodia, you're gonna backpack through Cambodia. You can even find specific bloggers based on who you are. For instance, a single mother traveling. Here's an example for that in DC. Savvy Single Mama Travels, family adventures on a budget. Check that out if it interests you, or Google broadly who you are and what you're looking for to find specific blogs that cater to you. Alright, method number 3, where we start to get into some of the better options. Googling specifically for what locals do in a city gives you unique places to go and lets you leave the touristy areas, which are often overpriced and have less authentic food. The 2 main platforms I use for this are Reddit and Quora, because they'll have locals from the city recommending what to do in different locations. For example, Deerfield 1797 gave this list of places to go to in DC, and it was upvoted 27 times. These platforms are a great way to get off the radar places to go and things to do and see. They're more creative than blogs, but because they aren't created by someone specifically in your shoes, they're a little bit less customized and tailored to you. Check out sites like these to get more unique things to do in the city. Alright, our next method, to figure out what events are going on in your city when you're going to be there. Honestly, I think this method is quite underrated and that more people should use it. In every large city, there'll be a bunch of events that are going on that can be cool, unique, and even free. The main problem is just even knowing they exist in the first place. Depending on the event, it can also just be locals, which can further enhance your experience. Some great places to find these events are on Instagram accounts, and I usually look for accounts with the names 365, Travels, Explores, or etc. For name reference, the ones I followed when I went to DC are Visit Washington DC, DC Spot, and Secret Washington DC. The ones that I like most from my current home of Austin are 365 Things Austin, Austin Texas Things, and Explore ATX. You'll see there's a general theme with the names, but because it's different people around the world making these different accounts, it's not going to be standardized. But there's a general theme with the names. Local news channels can also list different activities to do. One of DC's newspapers, the Washington Post, which honestly is a little bigger than just a local chain, also has great recommendations for current things to do in the city. The day I looked at it, they showed a Nordic jazz festival at Blues Alley hosted by the embassies of the Nordic countries. When I lived in Copenhagen, I went to a couple of jazz bars because they're pretty popular over there, so honestly, that sounds pretty cool to me. Maybe not to you, but to each their own. The ideas are out there, you just gotta find them. Also, every time I travel and go to a new city, I always do a couple of different things to make sure I stay healthy. So make sure to check out this video if you're interested in staying healthy while traveling. Alright, on to our next method, our AI method. This is one of my favorite methods to use. I'll ask ChatGPT to compare and contrast the city I'm going to, say DC, with one I already know, say another large city I've lived in, like Madrid. It brings up some great comparisons that break down a new city into one you already know. If you're in New York City or Delhi or Istanbul or anywhere else in the world, you can do the same and use the city you already know. I also like to use the table format because it's easier for me to stay organized. Maybe the neighborhoods won't be familiar to you, but the premise is still there. For instance, I know Lavapiés has a lot of cultural diversity in Madrid, but I had no idea Adams Morgan did in DC. Good to know, something I'm interested in, and will check out when I'm there. If I want to walk around a ritzy part of the city, I know I can do that in Salamanca and Madrid, and I guess I can also do that in Georgetown in DC. This method isn't as creative as the current event method because you don't get up-to-date info on what's going on in the city, but you get a pretty strong comparison between your home city and the city you're going to, so it's pretty customized and tailored for you. If you like what you've seen thus far, please look at that big, beautiful subscribe button below and consider subscribing to support a small creator. Alright, 2 more methods, and this next one is my favorite. Not a lot of people know about this tool, but it's a crowdsourced map with recommendations and descriptions for different areas of the city. This is a super easy way to see what areas are expensive, green, what areas are up and coming or hip, yellow, what areas are touristy, red, and more. I also use it for crime too. For instance, don't go to this part of DC apparently. It's funny to see what people put in here, and having looked at the cities I've lived in, Austin, Dallas, Madrid, and Copenhagen, I'll say it's pretty accurate. Make sure to check out the recommended area of the city if the words look promising. Alright, on to our last method. After arriving to a new place, I of course like to first do what I recommended in that health video, but then I like to sit down with locals and see what they recommend to do face to face. Easy people to ask questions to are the people who run your hostel, Uber drivers, and waiters. These people are locals, can provide you with unique recommendations, and respond to your questions immediately. Locals probably know a good chunk of the city, but because they don't have the huge knowledge set of a crowd-based source or AI, they can't provide you with all the best info. Check out using the different methods to see which ones work better for you, and let me know in the comments if you use any other methods that you think are worth sharing. That's all I've got for you this time. I hope you enjoyed and thank you for watching.